Job security, in my opinion, is illusion. Okay, during your active employment period, make use of your income to build sizable assets. That can give you confidence even if there is a worst case scenario of a layoff. Learning on personal finance is very important. Unfortunately, we don't have curriculum in schools and colleges which teaches on personal finance. Let's say if your monthly expense is somewhere around 50,000. Now, if you have a 50 lakh portfolio and if that portfolio goes up by 1%, that 50,000 gain in one single day can take care of your monthly expenses. Probably if you have crossed that, the next milestone should be 1 day of gain should be equal to your 1 month of take-home salary. Now let's say you invest 1 month of your expense. You invest that today and leave it to compound for 30 years at a rate of 13%. Okay, this translates to, now this is equal to 7 months of your expense. I was just doing a 3,000 rupee SIP, you'll not believe. Just 3,000 rupee SIP in that particular scheme in 2013. This 100 rupee NAV fell down and it came to almost 90 rupees. Just a 10% fall. You will not believe I had so many questions to my advisor. I asked, is it really a fun to invest? 10% fall. And you'll not believe the NAV of that scheme today is around 600 plus.
6x.
Okay. We are talking about a concept of FIRE. So he brought a concept called water. FIRE is financial independence, retire early. He's saying water is what after the early retirement. FIRE, I don't really focus on the RE part. I focus more on the FI part. Financial independence is what matters more than retire early. Okay.
Right.
People say that everything is reversible in life. You cannot get time back once you lose it. So I have an option for it. You achieve your financial independence. Every minute of your day is in your control.
ओके, तो जस्ट बिफोर स्टार्टिंग दी पॉडकास्ट, आप में से जितने भी लोग हैं जिन्हें स्टॉक मार्केट इन्वेस्टिंग में इंटरेस्ट है, उनके लिए एक छोटा सा अपडेट है कि जो शुभम है वो संडे को एक वेबिनार कर रहे हैं. तो जिन्हें नहीं पता शुभम के बारे में, शुभम 29 की एज में फाइनेंशियली फ्री हो गए थे. इसलिए अमेजॉन यूएस की जॉब छोड़ के वो बैंगलोर इंडिया शिफ्ट हो गए और एक फुल टाइम इन्वेस्टर बन गए. तो अगर आप इस वेबिनार में इंटरेस्टेड हैं और शुभम के एक्सपीरियंस से सीखना चाहते हैं तो इसका लिंक हमने डिस्क्रिप्शन और फर्स्ट कमेंट में दे दिया है. एनीवे, स्टार्ट करते हैं इस अमेजिंग पॉडकास्ट से.
Rajkumar, you have worked, I think, with Cognizant for 12 years. That is a very relatable company. So many of our friends also work there, right? And recently on a LinkedIn post, you said that job security is an illusion, whereas asset is not. So can you just elaborate, like, what do you mean by that?
See, it's quite natural, right? I think in today's context, many of the jobs are being replaced by AI. Okay. And not just in IT, I think, of course, in every industry, you see the impact of AI and many jobs are at risk. I mean, even without AI also, I think we have heard of layoffs even in the past, right?
Right.
Particularly in the top leadership, probably once you cross 40s. So job security, in my opinion, is probably a illusion. Okay. So the amount of confidence that you can get out of the assets that you build during your employment period, and if that can give you so much of confidence, I don't think you would really bother so much about job security. In fact, one of my friend actually, he is working for a UK-based organization. Recently, he said like there are huge, massive layoffs going in his company. Okay. So most of the people were given immediate termination with just 1 or 2 months of their salary. Okay. And most of these guys were actually clueless because the market is also not great.
Right.
Okay, you don't get job opportunities. And particularly if you are in the higher experience band, your packages are so high. I think it is very difficult unless you build a sizable corpus. So that's what I meant to say. During your active employment period, make use of your income to build sizable assets. Okay. And once you build a sizable asset, okay, that can give you confidence even if there is a worst case scenario of a layoff. Okay. Even if there is a layoff and if you say let's say if you have around 15 to 20 times of your annual expense or probably even 10 times of your annual expense, that can give you confidence.
You're right.
I typically talk about a 1% formula, which basically means that at any point of time in your life, you should have an amount of corpus in equity markets or whatever, diversified, whatever it is. Now, assuming a 1% increase in your portfolio on one single day, that 1% gain in one day should compensate your monthly expenses. I'll put it in terms of numbers. Okay. Let's say if your monthly expense is somewhere around 50,000. Okay. Now, if you have a 50 lakh portfolio, and if that portfolio goes up by 1%, that 50,000 gain in one single day can take care of your monthly expenses.
Right.
It should be the first milestone in the journey of financial freedom. Probably if you have crossed that, the next milestone should be one day of gain should be equal to your 1 month of take home salary. Right? Now tell me, doesn't this give you a confidence, or will this really scare you in case of a layoff? Not really,
No.
right? If you make that kind of an earning, right?
So what would be your guidance, or what would be your suggestion to somebody who is starting out and basically, wants to build a sizable corpus? What is the route that he can take?
See, I would say learning on personal finance is very important. Okay. Unfortunately, we don't have curriculum in schools and colleges which teaches on personal finance. So most of us learn it on our self after many years of our employment. This way, what happens is, like, during your employment, once you start earning money, you start doing so many mistakes in finance. Okay, and you take so much of time, and by the time you realize, you should have actually wasted a good amount of years where you can compound your wealth. So my general advice is commit all the mistakes as early as possible in your life financially.
Agree.
The earliest you commit, the self-realization also happens so quickly, and then you can probably focus on fixing those mistakes. Correct?
Right.
Number 2 is, during this period, people do so many mistakes of being trapped in huge big ticket loans, right? Be it a car loan or home loan, whatever it is. So they get trapped into these things. So what happens is, eventually a sizable portion of their income gets locked for the EMI, and they are probably left with a smaller portion of money that they can invest. Okay?
Right.
So this way, the amount of money that they can invest in the equity markets is going down. Okay. And the time that's available for your investment to compound is also coming down. So both of these have to be fixed. I found my retirement corpus number when I was 26, 27. Okay.
Wow.
So self-realization, educating yourself on personal finance, committing mistakes as early as possible so that you can fix it early. All these things, if you can do it in your early periods of your employment, that can fix the most of the problems.
Do you also do insurance?
Yeah, I still have it. Okay, so when it comes to insurance, I'll also tell you the mistake that I did. When I started my career in IT, I worked in TCS first before for the first 5 years. At that point of time, to save tax, I took an insurance. Okay, that's very bad, right? To save tax, you take an insurance is not the right way. To protect your risks, you should take an insurance. But again, victim of financial illiteracy, I did the same. I took a endowment product, which is of no use today. I realized the mistake after paying the premium for 7-8 years. Okay, so I stopped the policy after that. And around 2013, I took a term insurance policy for me. I think 2012, I took my first policy. 2013, I took another policy, because 2012, when I took, I think it was for a cover of 50 lakhs. Okay. And around 2013, I realized that this amount is not going to be enough for me. So I increased my term insurance cover to 1 crore in 2013. Okay. And health insurance also, I opted for a family health insurance policy outside the employer provided cover in 2013. Today, I have even increased it further for a good amount of cover that can sufficiently handle any of the financial emergencies. Outside these 2 insurance policies, I don't have anything else.
देखो, जब गेस्ट ने कहा कि उन्होंने अपनी फैमिली के लिए हेल्थ और टर्म इंश्योरेंस लिया है, मुझे याद आया कि लोग कितनी बार पूछते हैं कौन सी पॉलिसी लूं, जब क्लेम करना होगा तो कौन सा देगा, एक्सेट्रा। इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसीज ट्रिकी हो सकती हैं और उनके टर्म्स एंड कंडीशन समझना मुश्किल होते हैं, इसलिए एक अच्छी एडवाइस मिलना बहुत जरूरी है। इसलिए मैं रेकमेंड करता हूँ डिटो इंश्योरेंस, विच इज फंडेड बाय जीरोधा। यहाँ पर हम फ्री में जितनी चाहे कंसल्टेशन कॉल ले सकते हैं, बिना किसी स्पैम के। हम अपनी मर्जी से कॉल शेड्यूल कर सकते हैं और एक्सपर्ट्स हमें सिंपल हिंदी में पॉलिसी पॉलिसी की हर डिटेल समझा देते हैं। चाहे फिर हम पॉलिसी लें या ना लें, कोई प्रेशर नहीं होता। इनकी साइट पर अलग अलग प्रोवाइडर्स के हेल्थ और टर्म इंश्योरेंस कंपेयर किए जाते हैं। साथ ही में एजुकेशनल कंटेंट भी अवेलेबल है। और अगर हम पॉलिसी लेते हैं तो डॉक्यूमेंटेशन से लेकर क्लेम सेटलमेंट तक पूरी मदद हमें मिलती है। सबसे बेस्ट पार्ट ये है कि ये सारी सर्विसेज फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट है। अगर हमें पॉलिसी से रिलेटेड कोई भी हेल्प चाहिए तो 1 ज्वाइन ditto.in पर हमें जाना है, 2 बुक अ फ्री कॉल दबाना है, 3 हेल्थ या टर्म इंश्योरेंस चूज करना है, 4 कन्वीनियंट टाइम सेलेक्ट करके रिलैक्स हो जाए। बाकी सब डिटो संभालेगा। लिमिटेड स्लॉट्स बचे हैं, तो अगर आपने इंश्योरेंस नहीं करवाई है तो इसे जरूर चेकआउट कीजिए। इसका लिंक मैंने डिस्क्रिप्शन और फर्स्ट कमेंट में दे दिया है।
For somebody who is like earning 40-50,000 a month, right, living in a tier 2 town, how would you know, who wants to become financially free, what would be your advice? Because for them it is very, very hard.
Correct. Shubham, the good part is for people who are actually living in tier 2 town with the earning of 40 to 50,000, their corpus for financial freedom will be relatively lesser than people who are actually in a high cost or high earning job in a tier 1 city, because their expenses are also less. That's the good news. But the point is, when it comes to crores of money that we are talking about, okay, crore of money can sound very painful to you, very difficult to you now, okay, but money loses its value over a period of time, right? And money also compounds to an unimaginable level if you give it more time. All this is possible once you start investing early. Now, let's say like we are talking about a person who is earning 40,000 or 50,000. 30% of his income, or probably 40% of his income would be his monthly expenses, right? So 40% approximately translates to, let's say, like 40,000, 16,000 is his expense, okay? So now 16,000 is his expense. Now let's assume the balance 70% is there, out of which he should start investing at least 20 to 25% of his income once he starts, right? And every year, if there is an increase in his salary, I think he should compensate that. If you can invest just 5,000, that's perfectly fine, because that 5,000 is going to compound massively in 15-20 years.
Can you walk us through like what is the percentage of investment in debt and what is the percentage in equity?
Okay, as of today, Hemant, I think 100% is fully in equity. Okay, I would say even 110%. I'll explain you what's the background on that. Okay. So I was actually on the other side when I started my journey, 27 or at my age of 26, 27. I was on 100% of debt. I had zero allocation to equities. Okay. So I slowly started, then realized that if I have to aspire for financial freedom, equity is the only way. I mean, I don't think I'll be able to compound wealth, because at that point of time, with zero knowledge on equity markets, instruments like PPF, the VPF, and all those things were the only source of investment options for me. But later I realized we are talking about inflation of 8-10% in real terms. I mean, the officially published inflation numbers are around 5-6%, but the actual inflation numbers are more. And if you're talking about investing in an asset class that's going to give you less than 7% or 8% post-tax returns, you're not going to create wealth. It's the journey when it started, I think it was more on the debt side. But over that 10-15 year period, I think I have moved most of my investments towards equity. Today, I don't have anything in debt.
So when you say like you are investing in equity, is it direct stocks or like mutual funds only?
No, my portfolio is fully on mutual funds. I burnt my fingers in direct stocks around 2016-17. Okay. And my belief is, as a normal investor, I will not be able to outperform the fund manager who is managing the worst performing scheme in any particular category in any long-term basis, 3 or 5 year period. Okay, it's not that easy. Okay, maybe it's easy for some people, but at least I felt that it is not very easy for me, because stock investing requires so much of tracking. Okay, now you invest in a particular company, you can probably look at the balance sheets of that company, growth prospects of that company. It doesn't end there. You have to look at their competitors also, 3-4 companies which are competitors to this company, and then finalize a stock. I don't have time for all that. And I feel it is always best to outsource it to people who are actually experts there, right? So I rather take a high risk in my equity portfolio through mutual funds. So that way I take, people say sectoral funds are risky, thematic funds are risky, mid and small, heavy allocation to mid and small is risky. I do all that risky bets in my equity mutual fund portfolio, but not in direct stocks.
Rajkumar, there was one post that you did that, if you invest 1 month of expenses for 30 years, you can compensate 7 to 12 months of expenses in future. So can you explain the math behind it? If you want to share the screen, you can do that.
Yeah. So this is a calculation that I did. Okay. Now let's assume someone is age 30 today and probably let's say their retirement is at 60, which I don't think in many cases, but let's assume for a hypothetical case, this person is getting retired at 60. Okay. The current monthly expense is 30,000. The inflation works out to be 6% on average. So with 30 years left for retirement, at the time of retirement with 6% inflation, your monthly expenses will translate to 1.72 lakhs. What is 30,000 today will translate to 1.72 lakhs. Now, let's say you invest 1 month of your expense, which is 30,000 today. You invest that 30,000 today and leave it to compound for 30 years at a rate of 13%. Okay. This translates to 11.73 lakhs. And the calculation that we made previously was 1.72 lakhs will be your monthly expense at the time of retirement. Now, this 11.73 lakhs is equal to 7 months of your expense. Okay. So, this is a 13% growth. You can handle 7 months of your expenses at the age of 60 if you let it compound for 30 years and invest just 1 month of your expenses. Now, on the right side, there is another table, the same calculation, but instead of 13%, let's see it goes up to 15%.
Right.
30,000 compounding for 30 years at 15% CAGR translates to approximately 20 lakhs. So that way, it handles almost 1 year of expense. So invest 1 month of expense that handles 1 year of your expenses during retirement. So now tell me, if you invest 20 months of your expenses as of today and leave it untouched for 30 years, it can easily handle 20 years of your expenses during retirement.
Right.
Right? So now people can come and say 13% is difficult, 15% is difficult. See, the rolling return for any 10-15 year period for Nifty 500 TRI is almost 15%. Okay. I'm just talking about index Nifty 500 TRI. So in an actively managed portfolio with a good allocation to mid and small cap, okay, 15% is doable even today, in my opinion. People can say it has happened in the past, but not anymore. I understand the fact that matured markets, upon they going into a significant level, the returns moderate. Fine. That's the reason I also spoke about a 13% thing. But there are two things to look at here. Look at the amount of inflows that's happening to the market today compared to what was happening 10 years back. Equity investing is no more a forced thing. It is the only option for many of the people, right? Because the interest rates or the returns that you get out from other products are no way on par, at least even with inflation rates, right? So with all these things, I think 13 to 15% is doable. Think of what is in your control today, the amount of money that you can invest. If you can invest 1 month of expense, that's going to handle. Just invest 20 months of your expense today. If you can do more than 20 months, let's say talk about 50 months of your expense, that should easily cater at least like 25 years of your retirement expense, right? So I just wanted to make that easy for people. So that's the reason behind that post.
Which is your favorite book, Rajkumar, on financial literacy?
There was a book that I read, which actually made me to start investing, by Manish Chauhan of Jago Investor. So he wrote a book, 16 Financial Principles That Every Investor Should Know. Okay. And the second book is How to Be Your Own Financial Planner. These two books, I read it when I was around 25, 26. Okay. So even today, I recommend that book, the first book at least, 16 Financial Principles, to many of my friends. Okay.
So I have one question. What mindset techniques or any specific action do you recommend an investor to take basically during a market downturn to avoid emotional decisions like panic selling, or a lot of people face that kind of problem?
See, the best solution for this is educating yourself on investing. So I was just doing a 3,000 rupee SIP, you'll not believe. Just 3,000 rupee SIP in that particular scheme in 2013. And this 100 rupee NAV fell down incrementally, okay? And it came to almost 90 rupees. That's a 10% fall, just a 10% fall. You will not believe I had so many questions to my advisor. I asked, is it really a fund to invest? Are we doing the right thing today? Investing in this fund, okay? And today when many of my friends come and ask me about market fall, I tell them, I have not seen so much of a fall in my past, but I had so much of questions. 10% fall. And you'll not believe the NAV of that scheme today is around 600 plus.
6x.
Okay.
So how much time it took you to get like financially free, and like at what age you started?
I think I started around 27. 27, 28 was the time frame when I started. Thanks to COVID, I had a second occurrence of COVID when the last variant, I forgot the name of the variant, right? I think I had first occurrence of COVID in 2020 itself, and then in 2022 I had a second occurrence of COVID.
Right.
Just around the COVID time, I built a good amount of, my portfolio was reaching a good number. And I would say if that's the case, I think from 10 years, my wife was also working. So actually we invested both of our income to build a good amount of corpus. So by 2022, okay, I think I was able to take the bold decision of quitting my job, because I felt like this 1% formula of 1 day gain equal to year, 1 month salary and all those things was done and dusted in 2020 itself. So, but situation was not good. COVID was there, so I was not really sure. FIRE, I don't really focus on the RE part. I focus more on the FI part. Financial independence is what matters more than retire early. Okay?
Right.
You should be financially independent. That can be at your 40s or 50s, whatever it is. But you should be financially independent. So I just thought I should be financially independent. This was something that both of us discussed in 2014 itself. I told my wife that there should be some point of time in our life where we shouldn't work for money. Okay. We should have good amount of corpus so that we live life according to our own means, right? I think people say that everything is reversible in life. You cannot get time back once you lose it, right? So I have an option for it. You achieve your financial independence. Every minute of your day is in your control. So you have control of your day, right? So you don't have to go and work in a company because you need money. You have good amount of corpus. Now you can say that, boss, okay, enough, done. I don't want to be in this job anymore.
What did you say to your boss?
No, he was very he was such a nice person. So he was not really happy to let me go out for the job. So he was giving me he probably thought that I got an offer from my competitor. So I said no, and just like every boss, he also did not believe it at the first.
Okay.
So I told him, no, thanks for the offer, but since he was so kind, had it been an arrogant manager, I would have said okay, done, not doing any more work. But I didn't have such a manager for me.
Okay, so Rajkumar, when you actually got financially free, what was the feeling? How you were feeling?
It was a proud moment that I don't have to bother anymore about any of these things related to finance. But the point is beyond a period, right? Life gets bored when you don't work at all, right?
So what did you do?
So, get up every day, spend some time with the family, roam around. I had good number of vacations. In fact, you asked the question, what did I say to my manager? Okay. He was checking my WhatsApp status. Okay. So I was on vacation. I was posting photos on my WhatsApp. The beauty is I was posting one of the, I went to Munnar. Munnar is his hometown, my manager's hometown. I'm not sure if he saw that photo and he discovered if it was Munnar. He texted me, Raj, how are things at your end? So I said, all fine, all fine. And then life got bored for me. Okay, people talk about fire, right? I forgot to say this. One of my friend has written a wonderful blog recently. We are talking about a concept of fire. So he brought a concept called water. No, fire is financial independence, retire early. He's saying water is what after the early retirement. Water is what after the early retirement. Okay.
Nice.
So you should know.
Wow.
Okay. So while fire is important, knowing water is also equally important.
Right. Yeah, that is very important. True.
Right? So you can't sit idle at home. Now think of our parents, right, who belong to the generation where they stick to the same company working for 30-35 years. To them also, life beyond 60, sitting idle at home is very painful. Right? So I actually wanted to do something where I'm so passionate about. So that's the reason I jumped into a profession like where I can guide investors on creating wealth. More importantly, educating them on achieving their financial freedom. So that's the reason I engage myself. If I had been sitting at home all these years since 2022, I could have been into a severe state of depression.
So let's say if, husband, wife both are aspiring for financial freedom, should they have a different account or a fire number, or like should they collectively,
Assuming that they are going to live together for long, collective is okay. Right? So in our case, it was a collective discussion only. Okay. So we discussed on all these things in 2014. So we thought that we'll be together for long. So it was a collective number and we worked towards it. And I would say the partner actually helps, right? I mean, like,
right.
See, in my case, I'll tell you, like I started with a random investment of 10,000 rupees in mutual funds just because she forced me to invest in mutual funds.
Yeah.
Without having any clue on what is the amount of money that I should invest, I randomly invest 10,000 rupees. I could have invested more. 2013, when I did the planning for me, I got to know that for all the financial goals that I had, I have to invest 22,000.
Right.
Then we increased it to 22,000 immediately. 2013 itself, we increased it to 22,000. Then we realized the power of compounding, early investing and all those things. It helped us to reach the financial freedom earlier. So my point is, if husband and wife, both of them are working together, nothing better than that. I think it's a dual engine, right? So
Right. Agree.
You can do it easily. Everyone in this country who is actually earning money should learn on personal finance.
Right.
Okay. But these days, people are very tech savvy, particularly those teenagers. But they go crazy also. They talk about bitcoins and other things, other fancy stuff.
Correct.
But personal finance, financial planning, I mean, it's not just about making good amount of wealth. It's about creating an environment where you feel that you are financially independent. That is more important.
Right.
So that literacy is more important. And if you have not got that through any formal means, you need to invest time on yourself to educate yourself on this. Jobs are not safe. You have to have a sufficient backup. Have all these things in mind and then start implementing it. All it requires is discipline and commitment for 10-15 years of investment. When you have discipline to invest 15-20 years of EMI, okay,
Right.
or not invest, pay EMI for 15-20 years and invest your PF all through your employment period. Follow the same discipline here. I think everyone should be able to achieve their financial independence.
Yeah, right. Okay, thank you so much, Rajkumar, for coming. I hope everybody has learned so much from your experience.
Thank you. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you so
It
much.
was very nice talking to you. Thank you.
और हाँ, अगर आप अपने को या अपनी फैमिली को इंश्योर करना चाहते हैं और इंश्योरेंस से रिलेटेड आपको कोई भी एडवाइस चाहिए तो आप डिटो इंश्योरेंस चेक कर सकते हैं। इसका लिंक मैंने डिस्क्रिप्शन और फर्स्ट कमेंट में दे दिया है। जय हिंद।